Chosen. Did you wake up at 3:33 again? It is not insomnia, it is call. While the world sleeps, the sky opens a secret channel, and only those who carry the brand feel this tug in their soul. Today I will decode Jeremiah 33:3, reveal the signal that separates an angel by trap, and deliver the 333 protocol that changes everything in 3 minutes. It is until the end, because losing this revelation can cost your next nights, and perhaps the purpose that God has reserved only for you. You did not ask, did not program or understand the reason, but whenever the clock shines 3:33, your eyes open. It is not insomnia, it is no chance, it's a touch, a call, a code that only the awakened recognize. And if this is repeated, if you wake up between 3:25 and 3:40 with surgical frequency, there is something in the spirit trying to cross the noise of the flesh. It is as if the body knew before the brain. His eyes move effortlessly and fix in the 3 digits that now burn more than they inform. 3:33. The number sees you, chases you, and as much as you try to ignore, something pulsates inside. A feeling that this awakening carries a message that you haven't deciphered yet. And there is more. The heart shoots without cause. It's not fear, it is anticipation. It is the spirit recognizing the invisible movement before the mind reaches logic. The beat accelerates because something is happening in the field. An approximation, a call, an opening. The dawn becomes an altar, and your bed a place of visitation. If you wake up like this, know it's not biological, it's spiritual. The kingdom is approaching something to deliver you, and the time when many sleep heavily. It is precisely when the sky most speaks to yours. You are being agreed because there is a call. And who sees 3:33 was not just interrupted, it was chosen to listen to in silence what the world ignores, the noise of the day. It's not just number, it's prophetic password. Every time you see 3:33, the sky is echoing a convening hidden in the scriptures. Cry to me and I will answer you, and I will announce you great and hidden things that you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3. There are pains that you lived that no one has seen. You cried without audience. You fell to your knees in silence, and even without understanding, continued. This type of pain is not in vain. She forges the chosen ones. If this message spoke to your story, comments, this pain has purpose. Leave your prayer request in the comments, and if you can, pray for someone who is asking too. Here, there is no applause, but there is a presence. Subscribe, because here the pain becomes called, and the silence becomes a testimony. It is more than a verse, it is a ciphered call, an invitation to a dialogue that does not start in the mouth, but in the spirit. Cry to me. This is not a suggestion, it is an intimate decree. It is the cry of the top calling its name in the middle of the dawn, breaking the veil between dimensions. Not in a voice, but with number, because when the sound is silent, the sacred geometry of the heavens moves. God speaks of codes to those who were sealed, and numbers are his silent language. Seeing 3:33 is not just about seeing, it is about being seen. It is about being in a position to receive revelations that are not in books, nor in preaching, but kept in the spirit of those who put themselves on their knees when everyone sleeps. The number calls you to the big and hidden things. You feel it. Something wants to be revealed. Something the natural eyes would never reach. God is not shouting, he is whispering. And only those who have learned to listen in the dark understand the value of an unleaded message. Why doesn't he appear and say everything clearly? Because the chosen one needs to search, feel, dive. Because only those who respect silence carries authority to speak. 3:33 is no coincidence, it is a portal. And Jeremiah 33:3 is the key. It is not insomnia, it is activation. At 3:33 a.m. the world sleeps, but the sky works. While most sinks into forgetting deep sleep, the chosen ones get up without knowing why. And there is a reason that goes beyond faith. The third cycle, REAM. It is the exact point where the brain, still immersed in the language of dreams, reaches a state of maximum receptivity. There are no defenses, there is no logic, only open channels. At this time, the melatonin plays its peak, the rational mind relaxes, and the veil between the worlds tuns. Physical reality becomes porous, and the frequencies of the invisible cross without resistance. It is when the spirit finds less noise to receive a direction, a revelation, a call. The Holy Spirit does not scream, he whispers, and only hear who wakes up just as the meat is silent. But why not everyone awakens at this point? Because not all were separated to hear. There is a spiritual sensitivity that is not trained, it is inherited. It is the gift of listening to what has not been said. Feel what was not touched. Respond to what no one realized. Those who wake up between 3:25 and 3:40 carry this mark. They are not being punished with waking, they are being invited to intercede for something they don't even know is happening. You are not waking up for no reason. The sky is closer at this point in the morning. And if darkness seems denser, it is because revelation about to go down carries more light than you think. Those who get up at this time are not weak of sleep. It is strong in mind. And that number? 3:33. You may even be smiling outside, but inside it's struggling to continue. You have prayed, you have been silent, you have felt things that you don't know how to explain, and it has carried a loneliness that no one around you seems to realize. I understand, because many who are here also carry this. Comment here if that word spoke to you. Leave your prayer request. And if it's not yet part of the channel, you subscribe, because here you don't have to pretend you are well. Here, we feel together. Is the seal that something big is to be shown, just for those who don't sleep again. Not every awakening is sacred, but when it is, the whole body knows. Discernment is required. The moment you open your eyes and see the clock scoring 3:33, the first criterion is emotional. What dominated your soul at that moment? If peace enveloped you as an invisible veil, as if the room became a temple, not doubt it. It is the spirit whispering, I am here. But if the heart accelerates, thoughts shuffle, and an unnamed fear is taken, don't run away, it's alert. And the sky awaits your answer. The second criterion is the environment. The spirit not only communicates, it changes the atmosphere. A slight variation in the room temperature, a subtle chill in the arm, the air that suddenly looks different, everything is signs. When the spirit world moves, matter bends. If the atmosphere has become dense or lighter, you are at the epicenter of a visit and you were summoned to realize. The third criterion is what came seconds before. An image, a sentence, a dream you forget when you wake up, but that left a deep feeling. That was not just a daydream, it was the password. Most chosen ones receive the content of the revelation before waking up as a silent download in the spirit. If you woke up with a clear memory, however small, don't ignore it. Write down. Meditate. This is where God will speak in the coming days. Divine call and anxiety differ by origin and impact. Anxiety holds, the voice of heaven releases. Anxiety confuses. The call of the Spirit brings clarity. If you woke up at 3:33 and felt activated, moved, repositioned, know, the sky does not waste signs, and only calls who already has something to fulfill. At 3:33 the world is silent, but the invisible is at war. The question that crosses you is, what aroused me was presence or was pressure? The discernment begins in the smell. A light, smooth aroma such as flower or distant incense signals angelic presence. The angel passed, the atmosphere was marked. But if the air becomes dense, nauseating as rotten or metallic, is something else. Its listening was allowed, but a siege was also revealed. The second evidence comes in the body, the chest. If there is lightness, peace that seems to have weight but does not oppress, it is the touch of the sky. If there is weight, pain, compression, or acceleration without explanation, it is attempt to block. The angels play to wake up, demons oppress to dominate. Then observe what invades your mind. Thoughts can be sown by the top or sent from darkness. A phrase, a memory, a mental image, sometimes a whisper that was not said in a voice. What arises there is diagnosis of origin. The sky will never bring confusion. Hell will never bring peace. The content reveals who is trying to communicate. It is not crazy to be afraid after a spiritual visit. Madness would be to ignore what touched you in the invisible. There are nights when the angel watches in silence, and others where the attack comes to interrupt his route. Knowing what happened between 3:33 and 3:36 may be the difference between returning to sleep or getting up at war. You are not getting too sensitive. You are being trained to read the signs that only the awake perceive. You woke up, felt something pulled you from unconsciousness like a breath. And now, what to do between silence and the call? This is where protocol 3-3-3 comes in. Take a deep breath, 3 seconds inspiring, 3 seconds holding, 3 seconds exuding. This is not just breathing, it is vibrational alignment. It is the spirit rediscovering the axis so as not to confuse attack with revelation. Then murmur in the dark, "Speak, Lord, I'm listening." It's simple, but it opens the sky. God does not require screams, he responds to the whisper of those who recognize the moment. This whisper becomes key. And when heaven hears that the chosen one answered, he speaks more. Immediately, without lighting light, without destroying the subtle field with artificial clarity, record. Take the cell phone, write a word. The word. The one that came to you when the buzz passed. It can be a name, an image, a direction. Save, because in the next 24 hours, the rest of the code will arrive. By a dream, a sentence of someone, a random passage from the Bible. But if you do not register now, the rational mind will steal what the spirit has received. This protocol saves awakening. He prevents the sky from speaking, and the chosen one will go back to sleep as if nothing had happened. He is a silent vote that says, even without understanding, I recognize the sacred of this hour. And when the invisible sees that you take it seriously, he manifests himself more, clearer, more direct, more frequent. This is where 3:33 is no longer coincidental and becomes a call. Many are awakened, few remain awake, because just as there is a response protocol, there are also subtle, almost imperceptible errors that close There's something that moves inside you when you hear certain words. It's not emotional, it is not psychological, it is spiritual. It's like you've heard it before, even if you don't understand how. The spirit recognizes what the mind is still trying to rationalize. If this touched you, comments down here, I recognize. And if you want, ask prayer. Someone will pray for you. And if you haven't signed up yet, this may be the time to accept that the call has already begun and that you are not here by chance. Portal before the message is completed. And the first of these is to murmur against the vigil, complaining about insomnia, turning to the side, opening the cell phone, and happening again notifications such as who tries to silence the sacred with human distractions. By lighting the direct light, you tear the subtle veil that separated you from the spiritual world. The cold, strong, and artificial light dissolves the cloak of the revelation that the sky enveloped you at that time. It is like opening the temple curtain before glory manifests itself. The natural light of the Spirit requires reverence, no hurry, not anxiety, not the switch. But the most treacherous error comes later. Talk too much, share with those who do not believe, with whom it mocked, with whom it calls coincidence what was divine code. In doing so, you profane what was still being formed inside you. It is like pulling a green fruit from the tree and demanding that it feed. God does not awaken you to entertain you, He awakens you to transform you. Awakening is a secret between heaven and soul. Before counting, confirm. Before narrating, process. Before explaining, worship. Because there are words that only make sense after the process ends. And if you run over the process, you also lose revelation. Therefore, 𖤔. Preserve the sacred. Honor the visitation. 3:33 is a code, but it is still open to those who learn not to close in a hurry, tiredness, or carelessness. The sky is not repeated in vain. If you still wake up, it's because there is still something that needs to be heard. She didn't know what it was. Always woke up at the same time, 3:33. At first I thought it was just anxiety, work stress, or effect of the medicine I was taking to sleep. But one night was different. She woke up and was not afraid. He felt a peace he could not name. He was lying down without moving, with his serene heart, his eyes open in the dark and the soul as one who listens to something without sound. The next morning he decided to obey the intuition. He prayed. Praying looked foolish after so many nights unanswered, but prayed. And that same day at 15:33 he received a call from the hospital. His child's exam he had previously normalized. No medical explanation. It was then that he understood. Waking up at 3:33 was a call. It was not insomnia, it was a covenant. It was not biology, it was purpose. There are pains that you lived that no one has seen. You cried without audience. You fell to your knees in silence, and even without understanding, continued. This type of pain is not in vain. She forges the chosen ones. If this message spoke to your story, comments, this pain has purpose. Leave your prayer request in the comments, and if you can, pray for someone who is asking too. Here, there is no applause, but there is a presence. Subscribe, because here the pain becomes called, and the silence becomes a testimony. Since then, every time she sees this number, she no longer asks why. She just whispers, "I'm here, Lord." You can say, this is the difference between those who observe and who obey, between who lives the number and who activates the sky inside it. Now that you know it was not a chance, that the number did not appear by randomness. Waking up exactly at 3:33 was not just another restless dawn. You need to position yourself. This is the moment when the chosen ones are no longer spectators of spirituality and become active messengers. So here is a clear, straightforward, and totally prophetic call. If you are one of those who wake up at 3:33, or if you have had this time spiked on the phone screen, the car's panel 1, right now in the comments, 3:33 plus your city. This is not just a sentence, it is a map. It is a silent cry to the sky. It's like you're saying, hey, I'm awake, I'm listening, I'm here. Because the sky is mapping the awake. He is cataloging those who hear even when everything is silent. What's more, the first 33 who comment with faith and intentionality will be specifically interceded, with name, city, and a prophetic clamor that will be made outside the cameras. Because this series is not entertainment, it is vigil. Do you want to know if this is real? Test the spirit. Right, position yourself. The sky does not call who watches, calls who responds. And when the clock silences, but the signal keeps coming by other means, when it's not 3:33 more at dawn, but $444.44 in the power bill, or $777 in the supermarket ticket, or 1111 flashing on the elevator display. When do numbers begin to follow you, to appear as spiritual stamps in everyday life? It is at this moment that many ignore and lose the answer. But the chosen ones know there is no coincidence for those who carry called. Each repeated number is a call. Each invoice, every receipt, every exact value is a reminder. The sky is still trying to talk to you. In the next episode of the series, let's decode what the numbers are trying to reveal. How the spirit world uses slips, extracts, automatic values to deliver messages about emotional debt, unlawful contracts, hidden spiritual inheritances. Because yes, there are slips that the body pays, but the soul should never have signed. Get ready. What will come will be a mirror of spiritual accounts that are asking for a hit. And only the awake can realize that it was not just a charge, it was a call. And who has ears? Who listens to the barcode?